Hi, I'm Mark Surman. I'm the president of Mozilla.
And you've been here a very long time.
I've been here for 17 years.
Hi, I'm Suba. I'm the COO of Mozilla, and I've been here for just over 2 years.
It's been amazing to work together on figuring out this next phase of Mozilla with you and build a strategy together.
When we think about it, we're in a moment. And do you agree? We're in a moment.
We're in a moment.
It's a big moment. Money is flowing everywhere. It's going into all these new sets of walled gardens. And AI, even though AI has technically been around for a long time, it is back in a big way and in a way that's in everybody's common everyday use. I believe this is a moment for Mozilla. So taking that, I'd love to understand your perspective. Where are you taking us? What's our strategy?
Well, I think the moment we're in is that we have to make a choice about the direction of AI. We're at a fork in the road. And there's so much wonderful in how people are thinking and talking about and building AI today. I use lots of stuff every day that I didn't ever imagine a few years ago. And we're surrounded by all this slop. There's all this slop, which is funny sometimes, but when you think about we're rolling this technology out really fast in our workplaces, our governments, across our society, it's not ready for prime time all the time. And then you have a few companies, 6 or 7 of them, that really control the whole ecosystem. So we're at a spot where we have to choose. Do we want those few companies to control the future? Or do we want to collectively make a decision, imagine something different, and choose a different future?
Yeah, I remember working with you. This was in the first half of this year, in 2025, where we started to talk about how do we think of the next 3 years across our portfolio of companies. And we have been talking a lot about open source AI. And what does that really mean? And where do we as Mozilla play? So there are 2 dichotomies at play here: the value for humanity and the value it's taking away from humans. I believe we as Mozilla have an amazing role to play. Do you want to walk us through a little bit of that open source AI strategy that we started to talk about that our teams are starting to pursue?
Well, I think what Mozilla needs to do in this moment is bring together, rally a whole set of players and do for AI what we did for the web. So what did we do for the web? We helped decentralize it. We helped open it. We helped build, not just with Firefox, the browser, but really opening up the whole Web 2.0 era, a way that everybody could participate and shape where the web was going. And we're not there right now with AI. So I think we need to step in again. Open source is a key part of doing that. Making tools that everybody can build with without paying a big rent to some big company and being able to own what they build, but also to have it be more transparent.
Mark, when you and I first met, actually when you interviewed me, you talked a lot about your vision for Mozilla in the next few years and how you want to make Mozilla not just modern, but also very relevant for the next 25 years. So let's talk about what relevance for the next era means. We talked about AI, we talked about the changing face and shape of advertising, but I'm curious, how do you see our business strategy evolving and the viability of Mozilla as we define the next era?
So I think if we want to do for AI what we did for the web as an impact, as a mission in the world, we need to rewire ourselves from a business perspective, and we've already started to do that. And so what does it mean to rewire ourselves? One is to make sure that our core products, things like Firefox, we bring in a set of talent that knows how to do AI in a trustworthy way, and we build for that. But it's also meant setting up new companies. We set up a public benefit corporation to build open source AI for developers, to help make open source AI the default choice for developers instead of these closed platforms. And then in addition to sort of investing in ourselves to be different, we've totally rewired how we think about our money. So we have about $1.3 billion in reserves, and we started to invest in other people's companies. We set up a venture fund, and that venture fund looks for other double bottom line tech companies and invests in them, but also kind of comes to agreements with them about how they're going to pursue their mission and how we can support them. So the overall idea is really building an alliance, sort of a rebel alliance of sorts, of double bottom line tech companies that can drive the industry forward in this next AI-driven era of technology.
You mentioned double bottom line. You and I have been in the trenches working through what does double bottom line mean for Mozilla, along with several others on our team. Could you give us a little bit more of an explanation of what does it mean? Why is it important?
When the W3C, the people who write web standards, we're going to put DRM, digital rights management, into videos for the web. all of the activists, all the open source people, all the people on our side said, no way, Firefox should not accept that web standard. But the pragmatic thing was, if we didn't put that DRM video into Firefox, people couldn't watch Netflix. And so there's often those trade-offs. Like, we are building a popular product driven by values, and we have to make those trade-offs. So as a double bottom line organization, the work we have to do is look at how those trade-offs get worked through, build a business, have our values, kind of balance them out in the era of AI.
That reminds me, when you think about a browser like Firefox, people are on Firefox by choice. It doesn't come preloaded. It doesn't have the distribution advantages of other companies. So meeting people where they're at and giving consumers the best experience possible with them having control of their data is, I think, a balance that we can absolutely achieve.
When I talk about needing to do for AI what we did for the web, a part of what we did for the web, or part of how we did what we did for the web, was to rally tens of thousands of people around the world who wanted to build real alternatives to the big tech of the time. And that is what we need to do again now. We're here at Mozilla Festival. You've got a community of hackers and media people and startups and activists. And that actually is a much more diverse, rich community than we had 20 years ago. I think it's focusing and, most importantly, supporting those people as they try to build alternatives, as they try to imagine a different future. Once we have open source and open standards and interoperability, the whole ecosystem can go faster. There can be more competition, more creativity, and I think it's actually easier to build. There's an incentive to build systems you can trust.
That's exactly right. We've talked a lot about the future. We talked a little bit about the history of Mozilla, but I'm going to bring us back into the present, in the now. What is Mozilla today? Who are we and what are we?
If you looked at Mozilla 5 years ago, we were a nonprofit focused on the Mozilla Manifesto that owned a browser company. Who are we today? We're still a nonprofit focused on the Mozilla Manifesto, but we have a whole portfolio of companies and funds that are being used to drive that double bottom line, to drive the manifesto, and actually to grow our sustainability and business for others. So we have a browser company that makes Firefox. We have an email company that makes Thunderbird. We have a developer-focused AI company. We have a venture fund. And actually, by the time you see this video, we will have a new public benefit corporation that is focused on data.
I am so excited for all things Mozilla. But thank you for sharing more about your vision, your strategy, and where we are headed.
And thank you, Suba, for being such an amazing partner in building this strategy. We've got so much fun ahead of us.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.